Hey everybody, welcome back to another Slimefun filled episode with your host Boomer, and today we are hanging out in another because we want to talk about chunk loading. Now I totally may have made a boo-boo in my assumption that I need these. I was sitting at my base in the overworld and I was monitoring the number of singularities that I had in each one of these chests, right? And I was watching, and all of a sudden the lapis and the redstone changed places while I was in the overworld. The only way that could have happened is if these chunks were loaded. And I'm pretty sure, and somebody who is a server owner can probably confirm this, that on a server, not a single player world, but on a server, the Nether has a spawn chunk area or something similar to it, as does the End. Because I watched the number of singularities increase while in the overworld. Now that might have been the case. This simple, trans-dimensional thing, if this kept the chunk loaded and it was just the one that it's in, which is tied to all the way behind me, way back on the end, this chunk should not have been loaded. So I don't think it's a trans-dimensional access. I think this is because there's Nether spawn chunks. So I don't need to put these in, but I do want to show this to you because if you are playing on a server, you can actually chunk load. These don't take a ton of material and resources to craft, but let's talk about it real quick. Okay, so reinforced string is 4 reinforced alloy, 5 string, no big deal. We've got tons of that, so that's 16 reinforced and 20 string. Stabilized blistering, okay, hardened and reinforced in a blistering ingot, so not horrendous. I mean, some work, but only 3 of those. And enriched netherite is simply netherite with plutonium. Now again, there is a lot of work that gets to this point, but it's not horrendous. It's not like Void or Infinity. So I did make up 2 of them, and I came in here to try to place them down. Okay, let's just stick them down and load the chunk. And I got this message. GPS complexity. See, it made me wonder, why is it possible that I could have a 5,000 or 6,000 or 10,000 network complexity? Well, there's a reason why. You need it. In order to maintain a chunk loader, the network complexity needs to be at 7,500 or higher. I had one at 74 and change, and it would not place. So what do you need to keep this network going? So you need to get network control panel. By the way, let's make sure we're in this chunk. Okay. And then I put down my energized transmitter. That gave me a complexity of 4824. Remember, you get 600 just for placing that one, and then you get 64 per Y level. So I'm at 4800. So we need to get a little bit higher. So I've got a couple carbonatos. Let's place those down. That gets my network complexity up to 6380. So now we'll have to place an advanced. We're at 8300. So probably more than we needed to be at. But now if I go to place it down, voila. So if I were outside of the spawn chunk area, this chunk would stay loaded. Now, if I try to place one down here, I need additional network complexity. So maybe I drop one of these, one more of those, one more of those. I still can't place a second one. I'm at 9392. I'm pretty sure 7,500 is a magic number because, like I said, at 74 and change, I couldn't do it. But I was able to place it once I crossed over that. And somehow I had some combination that got me, I think it was about 76, 7,700. I can't remember exactly what I did, but at 75, I know I could place one. Okay, so if you want to keep a chunk loaded, all you simply have to do, and it's not as simple because it is kind of expensive to craft those things. The best thing I could tell you is if you put your Y level, the really easy way, right, is here's the fastest, easiest way to do this. No, not the advanced. Give me one of these. That's my energized one, right? Yeah, okay. So for the energized, you get 600 to start with. So you need 6,900. Take 6,900 divided by 64, which is roughly 107, 108. Place them above, or just say 110. That gives you another 7,040. That's 7640. If you place your Y level at 109 or above with one energized transmitter, you can load the chunk. If you do it right on the chunk border, and that way you could put another one right next to it, you could have two chunks loaded. Or take it up to bedrock. Take it up, well, now the ceiling is only 127, so you really can't go much higher than it unless you break through the nether. If you were to break through the nether, well, then you place it at Y equals 209 or 211, 212, and you could do two of them. But that's really all it takes to load chunks. And like I said, on the server, mine just happened to have been loaded because I believe as a server, there is a spawn chunk in a nether and in the end. And we're going to test the end theory out here in a little bit, but we've been able to confirm it. Something's keeping the nether loaded, and it's not the transdimensional... here, hang on a second. It's not the transdimensional CT access terminal, because that is in this chunk right here. If the other chunks weren't loaded, this would have backed up. And when I came in here, the advanced quarry was completely empty, like you see. It was just sending them out so quickly. So that kind of confirmed it's not the CT access terminal, nor was it the chunk loaders. There's got to be spawn chunks in another. Forgive me, guys, if I'm a little ignorant on it. I've never really studied and learned about that as much. Probably should have. But that's all you need, guys, is a GPS network complexity of 7,500, and this chunk will stay loaded even on a public server, even if you're not in the spawn chunks, unless of course you don't have it installed. So that was really what I wanted to show you today. I wanted to get that out there before we get moving on the next couple of things as a follow-up. But take a look, we're cranking here in not even 24 hours since I finished that episode. 120 redstone, 119 lapis, 116 quartz, we got coal, 28 netherite. That's 160 netherite in each one. That's just sick. Diamond 28, emerald 27, gold 13, and iron, which is actually one that we're going to use a lot of. So we're going to get an iron singularity going in the overworld as well. And that's probably what I'm going to work on, is setting up the singularities for the remaining items. The 8 gold, or the 8 dust that come as part of Slimefun above and beyond iron, and then another iron one as well, because 5 iron just isn't going to cut it. So I'm wrapping this up, guys. Thanks for a real quick short one. Go Boomer or go home, baby, when you play Minecraft, and we'll see you later.